You know where your vocal break is, and now you want to know what exactly to do with it. I get it. So, disclaimer, the word break makes me very uneasy, and I don't like using it in reference to your voice. A vocal transition is not something that's broken, but just like the terms head voice, chest voice, mix, or even legit musical theater singing, it is a term lots of folks use, so I'll employ it. Yeah. So, a colleague of mine, Kevin Wilson, he has a beautiful take on the concept of the break and links it to the Japanese art of Kintsugi, where a broken dish is repaired with gold leaf. So the broken pieces become celebrated and beautiful. So, an important metaphor for life and, of course, for singing. But today I'm going to show you where the gold leaf is in specific ways. So, get out your pen and paper or just save this video for future reference because I'm going to open the information box and give you multiple contexts for how to manage transitions or passaggio in your singing. Hey there, if you're new here, my name is Dan Calloway. I teach musical theater, voice, and vocal pedagogy at Boston Conservatory at Berkeley. More than 25 years kicking around on equity stages and 15 plus years helping singers get to work on Broadway, national tours, regionally and around the world, and I'm very glad you are here with me today. In the first video about vocal transitions, I talked about the physiological causes of vocal transitions and the ways you can explore and locate where your own change zones live. If you didn't catch that video, pop down in the description and grab that information because it will be foundational for you. You can employ a lot of the tools I'll explain to you here, but if you understand why they work, then you'll be so much more self-sufficient when you're troubleshooting on your own. And that's my job as a teacher, to make myself unnecessary. A good teacher should work themselves out of a job. I always say that. So go back and take some time learning about your physiology and how to make loving friends with your voice and its individual ways of behaving. For this video, I'm going to give you a straightforward structure for working with, understanding, and navigating your vocal transitions and passaggio. I can only give you what I have found to be experientially effective for me. So, if you find that something different works for you, congratulations, and please share that. I'm going to give you a framework of exercises and tools based on the skills you will need to understand your vocal transitions and to make choices about what to do with them. If you're a theater singer or a multi-style artist, you'll have a lot of different contexts where you can make different choices depending on what sound you want to make. We'll start with modal mixture exercises so you can provide evidence to your voice that you're capable of singing different variations of modes 1 and 2 in the same pitch groups. Then we'll talk about the different levers you can use to navigate through passaggio, maintaining registration and evenness in the tone aesthetic you're choosing. And then I'll break down the acoustic and mechanical information you will need in order to move the trickier shapes through your transition. So vowels like E, oo, and open back vowels like o, ah, all of those pose their own challenges when you move through transitional zones. So I'll tell you what I've found to be most effective with specific elements of tract shaping: larynx, pharynx, soft palate, tongue, and mouth shapes, for example. So let's fly into steps 3 and 4 of this passage through your voice, pun very intended. Steps 1 and 2 we covered in the first video about this. Step 1 being where you discover where your particular transitional zone or zones is and are, and making friends with that. And step 2, using gentle slides and simple scale combinations to let that modal shift naturally happen. And then selecting when you want to maintain the registration through the phrase. So that's staying in mode 1 as opposed to allowing the folds to loosen into mode 2. So here you are at step 3. modal mixtures where you can begin to have some fun with crafting exercises that switch up your use of mode 1 chest and mode 2 head in versatile and unexpected ways. So this will develop your versatility while also giving your brain some tricky puzzles to solve that will serve you well as you apply these skills into repertoire. And since a primary goal is to be able to calibrate mode 1 chest coordinations through changey zones, we're going to put the chest voice coordinations on higher pitches related to head voice pitches, and I'll show you what I mean. So first, you can start on a simple descending scale, like a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in your mode 2 head voice, and then ascend a little using your chest voice. So it'll be like this. Let's use, so I'll come down on an oo vowel. So you begin and descend on mode 2 head voice. So, fa, mi, re, do in this case, and then mi, re, mi. I don't know solfege. Re, mi, re, okay? So fa, I always get so confused with solfege. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or so, fa, mi, re, do. 2, 3, 2, 1, or re, mi, re, do, okay? So you begin to descend on mode 2 head. And then so I've chosen a vowel here, and then I land back on do in mode 2 head voice. I always have to think so hard about solfege. So you want to begin this exercise so that your chest voice isn't moving over passaggio just yet, so you can get the coordination first, and then you can climb to higher frequencies where things get trickier. So for me, that would be so that chest voice would land around the transitional zone. Chest voice would land around like D4 to F sharp 4. So like C major would be right in the middle of the action. So if you're a lower voice, you'll transition lower, of course, and this general zone is great to work with whether you have a testosterone influenced or estrogen influenced vocal physiology. So just to show you how that works just a little bit more, you'll come down on oo. And then moving up, say if I'm on C major, that's walking into my transition. We'll see how this goes. I'm doing this early in the morning. It's very tricky for the brain to land back in mode 2 at the bottom. So it's just really a really good little brain crosser. So after you play with this, you can then make the distance from your lower mode 2 head voice and the higher mode 1 chest voice a little farther to pose a little more challenge. So take the same interval distance, a descending fifth, slide it down like this. Then you're going to pop back into the middle on 3 or mi on yeah and slide back to 1. So the whole exercise is ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. And I like to go ahead and just like yodel right into the middle of mode 1 here. It promotes laryngeal freedom, and it lets the mechanism respond to this rather abrupt tract shape change and mode switch. You actually want to cultivate laryngeal responsiveness to your tract shape because the shape of your tract has a retroactive effect on your registration. And when you know this, you can actually use tract shape to support the mode you want to use. So, ooh, mode 2 head voice loves ooh. Yeah, mode 1 loves yeah. So if I'm ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah. So you want that yeah appearing first in a comfy spot for your mode 1 chest and then moving into the trickier zones. So I say this often feels a lot like a leap of faith, like you're leaping through a registration portal, not quite sure what's on the other side. So let yourself do it. and you'll cultivate a lot of experience with modal shift and trust in your instrument. Ooh, yeah. And just keep moving that around to different spots and explore. So with those two examples, the sky is really the limit for what you can make up. I just say it's important to let your mode 2 head voice move low and switch into mode 1 chest higher in relationship to your head voice for the benefit of showing your voice you can do it, and also for giving your brain a teaser so that you work your way out of an, oh, this is where I have to flip into head sort of threshold idea. You're truly mixing up your modes all around your transitional zone so you can discover a lot more crayon colors in your box. And another fun one might be to alternate modes through a scale. So you could start ooh, hey, ah, ooh, hey, ah, ooh. So that's fun. You can notice on that, I use ooh and e for head voice, and ah and eh for chest. Ooh, hey, ah, ooh, hey, ah, ooh, ooh. Forgot to switch to mode 2. So you can, in that, you can think, I'm just gonna let the vowel do the mode for me. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh. Have that thought, and you start to see how vowel influences your mode. And that will lead you and me into step 4. What are the physiological mechanisms you can use to ensure you can navigate through your vocal transitions while maintaining balance, efficiency, and vibrancy in mode 1? So what if you want to take E and OO and stay in mode 1 rather than letting head voice take over? So first of all, you need to ask yourself, how much breath do I need for this phrase? How much dynamic support is necessary for this? So ask your body and listen for an answer. If you're inhaling a lot, overfilling, and then pummeling your larynx with all kinds of subglottal pressure, then you will not be able to vibrate in a balanced way. So this is essential. I'll link a playlist on breathing and support at the bottom of the description if you want some review on this. And we're always needing to check in on breath. And when you're feeling confident with your breath management, you're ready to tweak on a few phonation and tract levels. Okay, so make sure breath is working well before you get into managing your vocal tract. So for purposes of clarity, I'm going to break down transitions based on vowel, because every vowel comes with its own characteristics. Vowel itself has a frequency because it is made by the dorsum of the tongue's relationship to your hard palate. So an E vowel, for example, relates very far forward at the alveolar ridge. E, E. Can't see where my tongue is. E. So you have a long tube of space from your larynx to this relationship point where the tongue is meeting the hard palate. That's a long tube from there to there. So that creates a long tube, creates a low frequency. And then there's a very short distance from that constriction point to the opening of your mouth. Therefore, a higher frequency. So those two frequency zones, this little tiny one and this long one, together create what our ear perceives as vowel. For an oo vowel, oo, the tongue, ooh, that's my tongue making an oo, not necessarily my lips, though they help. For an oo vowel, the tongue dorsum relates to the back of the hard palate. Ooh, feel that for yourself. Therefore, the frequency zones are more half and half. Ooh, ooh. Knowing this is crucial. Your tongue's relationship to your hard palate is what makes a vowel. And vowel itself has frequency. Therefore, it affects the acoustic environment in your vocal tract. Therefore, it affects registration. Now, let's start on an E vowel, okay? Begin with the range of a third, and let's use a chromatic scale where you know you'll stay comfortably in chest voice. So I'll start for me on A major, because that, a third, will just top out on C sharp here. It should be fine today, we'll see. Chromatics are key because it'll help you discern your own nuances from half step to half step. So I'll just do, it's just that, okay? Oh, see, I took too much breath. I'm gonna blow it out. I'm gonna see how much breath do I need for that little phrase. There it is. E, B flat, E, B, E, C, E. Now notice what happens as I keep the shape of the E vowel the same. E, here in my range, you start to hear a squeezy quality in the vowel. So in order to navigate this and maintain some lovely blend of frequencies, I'm going to begin to lower my jaw as I ascend. So I'm going to return to C. E, as I do that, my tongue maintains its relationship with the hard palate. So my tongue will remain floating high while my jaw lowers. So if I go, here's E flat, so that'll take me to G. Let's see how this goes this morning. So together with lowering my jaw and floating my tongue up toward my hard palate, I'm also allowing my larynx a lot of freedom. As the air moves up from my lungs, I tell my larynx he's like a boat on the water. So as I ascend in pitch, I allow my larynx to raise a little as he wants to. I like doing this. You don't have to. Some folks like to maintain a stable laryngeal position, and that's fine. You're just managing different acoustic factors. So if I keep the larynx in a medium-low place, then it sounds more like this. Let's see. I'll demo on going to G, so key B flat. And I'll sort of keep my larynx in a more stable location. And if I let my larynx float up a little bit, then it's more like this. It's a very subtle difference, so I'll do them together to see if you can hear anything. You might not even be able to hear. I don't know. Maybe I won't be able to hear. So I'll go medium, and then I'll go the floaty one. Yeah, so more stable location and more floaty location, or moving location. So there's a subtle difference between those two because I'm letting the tube shorten a little bit as I let my larynx float up. For me, it gives me a little bit more, because my tube is shorter, higher frequency boost and collaboration as I sing a higher frequency. The other thing that's happening as you ascend is that the vowel is actually changing from an E to an I, as in sit, but it's a very far forward I, more like German, like bitte. So because vowel is frequency, that modified vowel teams up with the frequencies being produced by your folds and arrives in our ear as an E vowel. So I know that's trippy. If I go E, if I keep that shape, E, and I just slide that shape back down, E, you can see that I'm actually forming an I. But with that F collaborating with an I vowel, it sounds like an E vowel. It's pretty amazing and really important information. Now that was more of a Western classically informed event that I just demonstrated. So if you're in other styles, your phonatory pattern will be different. It'll be maybe less flow, more compression, or maybe a breathier sound, depending on what you're doing. And your tract shape could change. So if I let the soft palate relax, I'll do this to F sharp, yeah? E, higher palate, E. So getting a more divergent shape. Yeah, getting a more divergent shape with your tract and letting the larynx gently rise actually helps with a lot of transition hiccups because you're providing a rich and energetic acoustic environment that supports you remaining in mode 1. And you notice on that, I'm still modifying though. I'm still lowering the jaw and singing basically. And you can just play around in this zone in different styles, neighborhoods, and see what's different. So the acoustic principles are the same, and they'll have different applications depending on style. So another tricky vowel is ooh. So if I go back to A major, I'm going to keep this, for this demo, I'm going to keep the ooh vowel basically the same shape, yeah? Ooh. And I'll move up by whole steps to save time. Ooh. 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 So now, what happens to ooh as I ascend? A very similar event to e, either squeezy or it'll want to flip. Ooh. So actually, the same tool I used on the e vowel, I'm going to use for ooh. I modified the vowel already in my head. I'll lower my jaw a little and I'll let my tongue float high toward the hard palate. And then I'll also let my larynx know he is free to hang and float on the water as he sees fit. So I'll modify, I'll go ooh, okay? Ooh, ooh, ooh. So you'll also guess, just like with the E vowel, there's been a change, and you'd be right. I have shifted from ooh to as in book or hook. And I can carry this coordination up through the transition. So now if I go up to A flat, and look, I lower my jaw a good amount. I give it a lot of frequency cushion. And again, you have a choice about where you want your larynx to be. I like to give mine permission to rise, but if you want it in one place, you are the decider for what your voice does. And you get to choose what kind of aesthetic framework you want to work inside. And then on other styles, you'll actually find when ooh gets higher, the vowel changes altogether. So your tongue is actually in, like say if you're singing rock, your tongue is actually making an I vowel and the lips round in order to give it the sound of an ooh vowel. I always think of Journey's separate ways for this. Reaching for you. So you can even hear that the vowel can loosen up as you descend. You. It becomes rounder as I come lower. So that's an I vowel in my mouth with round lips. So for different styles, we're actually changing the vowel altogether to maintain mode 1 in that style. Yeah, so if you were to maintain ooh, it'll either sound too round or it will do what a complete vocal technique calls curbing, like reaching for you. So that's a tactic someone could use, if you want to do that. But I think Steve Perry's vowels are so stuck in our ears that would distract from the style almost for that song. But listen to that when ooh vowels go higher in, say, specifically rock right now. That vowel changes to an I vowel inside your mouth. So for a vowel like ah, feel where your tongue relates to the hard palate. I always use an ah like andiamo, and I tend farther forward toward ah when I sing this vowel. I find it gives me the best acoustic leverage. So if I fall back into like ah, like father, I usually sound flat. So my tract just selects unfavorable overtones when I use that. So as I ascend, I will trend from ah toward ah. So let's see if I start on B. Ah, 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 ah. So as I'm moving into a transitional zone, I'm really singing an ah in my mouth. That might have been a little through my nose, but sort of cheating this morning. So the same rules are happening here. I'm monitoring jaw lowering, my tongue float, and laryngeal freedom. And as you ascend past the transition zone, higher notes on an ah vowel usually need a really cozy ah shape to them. So whether that's in like a Western classically informed or if I'm moving toward more like the vowel is basically going from ah to ah, and I'm just shaping the vocal tract in different ways in order to agree with certain style worlds. And you'll even find on your O vowel that this ah and the ah information serves you well. Often I'm singing an ah vowel in my mouth with my tongue while my lips help form an O shape. So ah, it sort of works like that. So if I I'm really using an ah shape in my tongue to support that O shape. So the acoustic rules will serve you whether you're working with a more convergent shape or a divergent shape. And if you are in a flow phonation or a more muscular dominated engagement at your folds. So, okay, I'm going to shut off the information fire hose for today. You learned about how to use modal mixtures through your transitional zones so you can show yourself that your voice has multiple registration options in one place. And you learned how to check on breath management and coordinate your jaw, tongue, and laryngeal freedom to help you navigate through transitional spots. And you also learned about how vowels modify in order to support mode 1 through passaggio. As always, if you have any questions about any of this, put that in the comments and I will clarify anything that a YouTube comment section can facilitate. I also have a free exercise framework that'll help you get command and coordination over your register shifts, cultivate laryngeal freedom, and also help you get intimate with your breath. So grab that in the description and join my mailing list. I'd love to have you there. I send emails every Monday, usually about how singing relates to overall life, wholeheartedness, and general satisfaction. And if you're wondering what I meant when I talked about making sure your breath management was supporting you well, check out this video where I break down breath for singing in the simplest and most straightforward way I know how, based on what I have found to work. So grab that here and find out all about your thoracic and abdominal cavities, magical superpowers. And most of all, please remember, there is only one you, and somebody would love to hear the story that only you can sing. Love much. Now go sing.